Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings. You're tuned in to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
Many pleasure. Very good. Look at whether you own them or not. It's a pleasure just to look at such presents. Why, I have never witnessed so many presents. I think I have to build me a house for presents. This shows what Allah can do for you and me if we believe in Him.
There is nothing that we could not accomplish in the name of God. You know what your problem is? You don't have even worthy goal to stand. I'm going to give you an assignment today. Here's an assignment. Is there something you want? Do you want something? Something that you want, but you have not been able to get it? Huh? Close your eyes. Do you see it? Whatever it is that you want, first envision it. You got the picture. Do you see it? You have to claim what you see. I claim this. I claim it. I believe with all my heart in the name of God that I'll bring what is in my imagination into reality. We're going to bring it back like it never was. I see in the dome the name Allah written in Arabic. But I can't just dream, I gotta go to work. How do you bring it into concrete reality? First, without faith, you can't work the vision. Even if you see it, you gotta now believe.
Greetings, conscious entrepreneurs. Add the Mind of an Entrepreneur show to your Roku TV lineup and catch up on past episodes of all your favorite Mo Today shows. Greetings, conscious entrepreneurs. You now can take the Mind of an Entrepreneur show wherever you go. I'm now available on Spotify. Just search Sajdah Wendy Muhammad.
belong to yourself. You're an independent people, created from the nation of free people. Yes, sir. You don't need to go nowhere but to yourself. Yes, sir. There will be a great separation. Yes, sir. So I said, it is on now.
The college is meant to prepare you for your future. That the time dictates that if we don't do something for ourselves as a people, we will be destroyed. And the aim of the enemy right now is to take us out.
We have God with us. We have Him as our guide. Yes, sir. We don't have to stand around here and ask the question, what must be done? Yes, sir. Get up and let's go and do something. Yes, sir. We cannot sit down. We cannot lay down. Yes, sir. We must get up. Yes, sir. And go to work.
Do you know what real joy is in life? Visioning something and bringing it into reality. That's real joy. Do you know what the next step in joy is? Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell in unity.
Tonight, you need to fasten your seatbelts. We're going to hear from some of the greatest minds in the world. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of trusting our future and the future of our children into the hands of those who don't love us. I believe we need to revitalize black leadership.
Check your records when you start going through my files. Check your records when you start going through what I went through. Yeah, talk about the divorce. Yeah, talk about the pregnancy. But check your records, because before then he said he sanctified me. He ordained me. He anointed me. If you're going to tell my story, tell the whole story. There's some people in this room who've had some people telling half the story. I want you to play this message for them next time they start playing. Tell the whole story. It wasn't just the cover of Time magazine. It was painting a church down in West Virginia. Tell the whole story. Tell the whole story.
Yep, tell the whole story. That's what I'm talking about today. We're going to talk about de-intellectualizing our community, so people become linear thinkers and half thinkers and putting people into a box. Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you. Happy Savior's Day. Welcome to everyone who is watching, listening, tuning in. Welcome. Let's get the business out the way before we start talking about folks. Let's see what I got to remind you all of. Okay, so today at 3 o'clock, we're going to go live at Silver Room, and it's just part of the Mind of an Entrepreneur series, where we're going around to various businesses, just talking to people about how excited they are about Savior's Day. But really, for those of you who are coming in town and you want to get a souvenir, a gift, we took you to Sean Michelle's homemade ice cream 2 weeks ago. You can go over there and get your Sajdah bean pie ice cream, that peach cobbler, that gourmet vanilla ice cream they got, supreme bean pie. You can get that. They got some Savior's Day packages where you can go grab you a quick package and take it back down to your hotel. Then last week we took you to Legacy Men's Boutique. This is mainly for the brothers and the sisters. If you know the brother forgot something, if he forgot his belt, his shoes, his hat, some gloves, Brother Mandine's got it all. So we took you there last week. Today, we're going to take you to the Silver Room, because if you like jewelry that matters, a lot of you all compliment me on my jewelry. Silver Room is a great place to get some really cute stuff. If you just want some basic silver hoops, if you want something a little more fancy, everything is Black designer, Black owned. That's right there in Hyde Park on 53rd Street, East 53rd. We're going to take you there today at 3. And then next week, we're going to be at How to Eat to Live Cafe. So y'all got to go there, either Foodie Spot or How to Eat to Live Cafe. But next week, we're going to be at How to Eat to Live Cafe, just taking you around to our businesses in the directory, friends of the directory, family-owned businesses, so that you get that welcoming committee and you feel good. If I had time, I was thinking of having people we still may do this, put like a sign or a banner up outside of their businesses that's just say Happy Savior's Day. So as you're driving around, you just see Happy Savior's Day, Happy Savior's Day, Happy Savior's Day. And that's important to me because Savior's Day is such a special time of the year for me. I remember my first Savior's Day like it was yesterday. And it's just, as I was moving around and traveling around the world and traveling around the country and working on all these different projects, one thing that I made sure I didn't miss was Savior's Day. So I made sure sometimes I just had to fly in, take 2-3 flights, fly in and then fly right back out. But I made sure, and I've drug a few of my family and friends to Savior's Day with me. So it's exciting. You see up here in the top corner right there, it says SD23 Tours. We're doing these mini tours of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. If you are a coin holder or a sponsor, that means that you already got the invitation to register. Everybody has to pre-register. There's no open access to the house. But now we're opening it up to everybody. So whether you're a coin holder or a sponsor or not, you can now go out. Sponsors, coin holders, y'all better hurry up, because if you didn't get yourself set up, you may miss it, because we're going to open it up to the public. And the link to those, if you go to my bios anywhere, right at the top is a link for you to register. I'll post it again when we get off of here on all the social media sites. We're broadcasting today from Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. So I'll make sure I get it out there to everywhere, but it should already be out there, but I'll make it a fresh feed so that you all can see it. Those are the tours. Mini tour is going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 10 a.m., noon, and 2 p.m. Central Time. And then Monday, we're going to do a special panel discussion. There's a 10 a.m. tour. And then right after that is a panel discussion and a live broadcast with myself, Brother Abdul Salam, NOI Archives, Student Minister Abdul Salam, NOI Archives, and Student Imam Sultan Rahman Muhammad. We will be doing a live right from the house. We're doing a little work, getting things together. The house is not yet complete, so I don't want you to think you're coming into a full completed and you're going to see all the augmented reality and everything. We want you to get an idea, and we're kicking off the momentum of just, this final phase of the house. You see scrolling across the bottom, SajdahHouseDonations.com. Like the minister said, I know we got a lot of charities, a lot of obligations, but we can squeeze a little more for the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. And one thing I want to tell you all is that one thing I'm realizing is that this house has sparked and inspired a preservation revolution or renaissance among our community. And I've been involved and in so many incredible projects I'm hearing about. So you should be very proud if you've given $1, $2, or $10,000, or if you're just supporting in your heart. If you say, look, right now I can't squeeze anything, I ask you to stop for a minute, say a sincere prayer for us that we get this done, because preservation is so important. There's so much of our history that has just been written out. I cannot wait to share with you all the things that I've learned, not only about our history as Muslims in the Nation of Islam, but Black history in Chicago. See, people sleep on the Chicago Renaissance. They know about the Harlem Renaissance, but completely sleep on the Chicago Renaissance and that first century of Black Chicago, where Black Chicago had more doctors than any other city right now in the world at that point in time, from 1933, early 1900s. These were people who either escaped from slavery or were free people who came here to be doctors, to be lawyers. There was a Black bank back then in Chicago. The Black Chicago intellectual movement was very impactful in our world as Black people just up from slavery. And a lot of people don't realize that because most of the history was erased. And so they pushed us more towards arts and culture. And while the Harlem Renaissance had an intellectual component to it as well, it also had a really big music and art culture. Now, Chicago had that as well, but Chicago was all about, for the most part, the intellectual, the Black intellectuals. This was a mecca for Black intellectuals. The very first founder of Chicago, Jean-Baptiste Dusable, was an entrepreneur. He was the first big entrepreneur in the city and a great representative for Black people. So there's so much history there. You can only imagine those people, and you can only imagine the machine that went to work against them to erase that history. And so one of the things that we're working to do in the Black preservation community around in Chicago, or just the preservation community, is to preserve our history. There's work on all of the underground railroad sites that are in the state of Illinois. There's a Midwest initiative about all Black history and in the Midwest. That includes things like, the Great Plains and Kansas and all the things that we did, we just don't hear about. Hold on, I just got a little, there we go. I got an error message. So those are the things we want to talk about. And it's important for me. And I came up with this concept because I started thinking about the de-intellectualization of the Black community. And we're going to chat about that for a minute. Let me shout y'all out in the chat. Oh, I see Brother Hakeem in the chat, y'all. That's Brother Tyree's father. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Hashim, Brother Kevin. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Alita, ASA, peace and blessings, everyone. Wa alaikum salam, sis. Sister Alicia, she said, tell it. Yeah, that's what we're going to do, tell it. I'm going to tell y'all why I played that video too. Let's see, Sister Roxanne Muhammad. Wa alaikum salam, happy Savior's Day, Brother Carlos, Brother Lamont. Welcome, welcome. I see some of y'all are shy. You got way more people on here, but that's okay. That's okay. All praises due to Allah. Let's talk about intelligence and our intellectual capacity as Black people. I played that video with Sarah Jakes on it because what I'm finding as I start to pay attention to people is that we are so dumbed down, not only as a society, but especially as a community. And we have completely adopted the racist mindset of the overall general systemic structure in this country, in that when we see one another, we automatically create a package. We create a package, we put that person in the box, and we make assumptions about them. And you know what they say about you when you make assumptions out of people, right? You make an assumption, you make an ass out of yourself. That's what they say. Let me tell you something. Part of us being so dumb, we're always trying to play people. I'm like Prince, you can't play me, because when you try to play me, you play yourself. If you're going to tell somebody's story, tell the whole story. talk about their triumphs and their downfalls. But we don't do that because we've completely adopted pop culture as our way of life. And let me give you some examples of this. Let's use business as an example. Right now, what's trending in our community is either us being an entertainer, an athlete, or into real estate. We got a little bit of bubbling up about crypto and investments, but for the most part, those are the three things. And so, but within those three things, there's a certain way that business is conducted and that business is done. And what we do, because that's the sum total of our business experiences, we come over to the business world and we start to try to recreate that model. We can't understand nothing else about business unless it fits that pop culture model. Here's an example. And I talked about this before, and I actually learned this from Brother Bedford. And so I have to give Brother Bedford credit for that. Shout out to Brother Bedford. He's a friend of the show, intellectual brother, super sharp. And he says, I was in one of his presentations, I think it was years ago. We were talking about business models. And Brother Bedford said, we got so caught up in pop culture. See, in pop culture, it's all about how popular you are or how popular you can prove you are, right? So what can you prove and how do they do it? So when we stopped, when they started doing distribution deals, right, in music, and to get a deal, they always wanted to see like a third-party verification. So they would say, well, how many CDs have you sold? And you had to prove it. There were ways that you could do venue counts and things like that to prove how many CDs you sold or how many you printed up. They wanted to see that. Then, or they would say, how many followers do you have? How many downloads do you have? How many people have listened to your music? And that would be what they would base the business with you on. Okay, that's fine. That's a perfectly acceptable business model from a business standpoint. But that's not the only business model in the whole world. And that doesn't mean that you base your business and your career using that business model. That is not business. That's a business model. And getting to Brother Bedford's point, he said, would you rather have 500,000 followers who just look at you and talk stuff about you? Or would you rather have 500 followers that pay you $100 a month? Let me know in the chat if y'all can do the math, which one you would prefer. You can have 500,000 followers who just stare at you, click on your link, look at you, look at what you got on, talk about you, spread rumors about you. Or you can have 500 followers that pay you $100 a month. Just those two choices, two different business models. Okay, so everything is not that model of business is not business. That's not the sum total of business. Sometimes we don't understand that. When people who sell real estate, for example, do you want 250,000 followers who just click on and look at the homes that you have on there? Or would you rather sell 2 homes a month? Now, some people would say, well, it's a sales game, it's a marketing game. Not necessarily. That's another business model where if you go into sales, you have your warm market and you have your cold market, and you have a number of people and it becomes a numbers game. So the more people you present to, the better the chances are that you're going to get a deal. That's a different business model. Okay. But business models, people, are not necessarily business. It's just a way of doing business. You can design your own business model. So stop assuming that you take that business model and overlay that into everything. Some businesses don't work very well in that kind of model or in social media, for example. So what we've done oftentimes as a business community of Black people, we take that pop culture model and we try to apply that to everything in our business. You know, if you're an HVAC person, of course you need a social media presence. Of course you need an online presence. But is it as important that you have 200,000 followers with your HVAC business? Is that necessarily going to convert into people hiring you to install their heating and cooling businesses? Not necessarily. So you have to know and understand how to deal with your followers. You have to train your followers. I had a client that does workout videos, and she posts workout clothes and, you know, muscles and all of that. She has probably close to 60, 70,000 followers. She tried to launch a clothing line and didn't sell one t-shirt. I have another client about the same amount of followers. She tried to launch a clothing line, sold about 100 t-shirts. Why? Because she's trained her following to just look at her. Because in her mind, she thinks followers translate into dollars. Here's another thing that y'all need to know. And I'm speaking, y'all know I don't talk about nothing that I don't understand or that I haven't experienced. A lot of this stuff that you see out here when it comes to people with 2, 3, 4 million followers is manufactured. Even if you're looking at the Grammys, the American Music Awards, many of us don't understand that those are sponsorships. I've been approached plenty of times. I've been at the BET Awards and partnered with, we partnered with a, what kind of doctor was he? A chiropractor to present an award at the BET Awards. We knew who was going to win in advance. Why do we know who was going to win in advance? Because the record label, who also partnered with us, had already paid for the award. So some of this business that we think is manufactured, I tell you another thing. When I was selling music distribution for Universal Records for a minute, there were services out there that you could buy that, and this is when, before everybody started doing this, but there were services out there that you could purchase for a certain amount of money per month, and they would just post for you. So you could get this one particular service that I used to use and sell to my client. They had 1,200 students nationwide who would just post. So if you put out a new song, you send it through the network and they all post about how they like it. You put out a new album, they would post what they like about it. You do something fancy or fun, you let them know and they'll post and tell everybody about it. So now the algorithm is impacted. If you got a problem with your competitor, somebody who is from your town who puts out an album and he raps like you do, you could tell this network and they would put out a rumor about that person and spread the rumor. All these kind of practices, this is stuff that happens. People manufacture stuff. Then they come up with, okay, reality TV. Listen, and some of us think it's real. So we go out there, we create this persona that impacts our ability to translate that into dollars. So it becomes a very short-lived type of situation, or you kind of ruin your trust factor so much that people don't want to mess with you. So now what you have to do is bring somebody like me on board, and I can help you reverse engineer that, because you can turn anything into a comeback story. We can crisis manage anything and manufacture anything. If you remember the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan telling us about that book years ago, By Way of Deception, it talks about how even assassinations occur in the media first, because people put the propaganda out there. They put out there how crappy you are, how they don't like you, what's wrong with you, what the problem is. They make you look so bad in the press that by the time they kill you, the public won't even cry. Think about that. So all of this pop culture way of doing things, even TikTok, the TikTok we see in America is not the same TikTok we see in Asia. But what happens is our vibration starts to drop because we're constantly nursing on these low vibrational activities. These low vibrational activities become our diet. We get addicted to it. We wake up in the morning and we want to listen to something that's reality based. Throughout the day, if we want to take a break, we jump into something reality based. Guess what? Your vibration gets lower. You got to be careful with radio stations, and maybe all they're doing is talking about gossip, or all they're doing is talking about raunchy sex. This hypersexual culture we have is also what is contributing to the abuse and disrespect of women and men. Men have inordinate views of them, of their women, and women have inordinate views of themselves. Or I wouldn't say inordinate, I'd say odd, where we try to play each other. We have lost, we become so dumb and de-intellectualized that we have lost our ability to organically interact with one another. See, because we don't, we want to just apply these rules. What pop culture teaches us to do is go, here's the rule, and you apply that in every situation. Here's the business model, and you do that every place you go. So we've lost our ability to properly interact with people, and we've lost our ability to discern. So we can't even read and pay attention anymore. We're just out of it. We can't get it. We can't get it because they've put us in a position where not only our thinking is very linear and dumb, our vibration is super low. And with our, hold on one second, let me turn this off. With our vibration being super low, what happens is that we think and we operate and we function and we make decisions on that low level. And we think it's okay. We don't even contemplate how a higher vibration is going to help us. And let me say this. This dumbing down of our community, this de-intellectualizing of our community, where intellectuals are not celebrated, but people who are manufactured are celebrated. This is going to really impact us as the fall of this economy, or this economy continues to take a tumble. What do I mean by that? As the economy begins to tumble, if you're still caught out there practicing everything you see in pop culture, let me tell you what business people do. Once they get you hooked on something, so once the masses of the people think that this business model is business, now they play you. So they know how to manipulate you because they know that's what you think, but they've gone on to some totally different business model. You can't even see it. You're not thinking for legacy. You're not thinking about giving back. You're not thinking about intergenerational wealth. You're not thinking about preserving anything in your community. What you're thinking about is trying to push this square peg in a round hole based on this business model that you saw on TV or that you study. There's many, there can be millions of different business models. So this is what I believe is going to happen. This is my prediction. I'm pretty sure it ain't even a prediction. It's a mathematical calculation. I won't call it a prediction. So as the economy continues to tumble and change, And that's an actual fact that's going to happen, right? Because as the economy globalizes and different economic factors impact how we make money, how sustainable and spendable our money is. You got some currencies that are now backed by gold. Some countries are still really into cryptocurrency. You have over here in the United States where they've kind of broken the cryptocurrency system so that they can regulate it. So that's going to change. What's going to make it? What's going to be the through line? The through line is focusing on the needs of the people, okay, and sales. That's going to be the people that are going to be able to make it. Why? Because if you can sell, you can do anything. What we're moving to in this country, and we've always been there, but you see it more like in what you call third world countries, where people mark people and they try to prey on them. And they may pick an elderly couple and just try to hang out with them and do whatever they got to do to get their money out of them. You have men who see women of means and think, okay, I'm just going to try to pretend like I like her and I love her and I want to marry her and I want to get money out of her and see what I can get from her. And they love you to the extent that you give them money. You have women that do that. That's been a practice that you hear about with women, but men be thotting out here too. So women a lot of times will say, look, if he ain't got no coin, I ain't messing with him. If he ain't giving me none of the coin, if he ain't giving me no gifts, if he ain't taking care of me, I ain't messing with him. All of that kind of stuff where we're preying on people and becoming predators. It's almost like how you see in Africa. Once you get a reputation for that, there's almost no coming back from it. And the tougher the economy gets, the harder it will be for you to come back from that. I remember being in Africa and Nigeria, and my business partner would say something like, no, this is what they do. This is how they do it. And the person could very well be sincere and very well be trying to turn their life around, but they can't because the people with money start to see certain behaviors. So when you watching these shows and you mimicking pop culture and you got this system that you're using, at a certain point, somebody's going to be onto the system. Think about that. Somebody's going to pick up on it. Somebody's going to get it. So in Africa, where you got this big gap between the haves and the have-nots, you got the people who are billionaires and millionaires, and then you got the people who are, like they said in the chat, the bottom feeders, if you will. Not bottom feeders because they are unfortunate, but bottom feeders because of how they think and how they act and how they conduct themselves. What's going to happen very soon is that as the economy tightens, it's going to be more difficult for you to sustain yourself. You're not going to be able to float in the middle, and you're going to look like a scam. You're going to look like somebody that's trying to do something. These scams are at an all-time high. It used to be that we used to just get those letters from Africa telling us that we got a long lost relative and send $1,000. You got people over here in America doing different versions of that. Let me tell you something. It's much easier to create. That's the fourth group of people that are going to make it. People who can create and sell. So if you can create a business, you got to get out of this mindset of seeing how you can slide up on people and get money from them. If you want to network, networking is very powerful. Go to different places. You can network. You can network in the airport. You know, I've gotten business deals from the airport, being stranded, sitting there talking to somebody. We exchange cards and go, hey, let me get you a presentation. That's very real, right? But when you're just trying to get something from somebody, and the telltale sign, let me put y'all up on game. The telltale sign that somebody's trying to do that to you, because oftentimes it's difficult. is when you talk to them and they're constantly trying to categorize you. See, when you meet somebody and you think they're interesting, you're just going to have a conversation with them. You're like, man, this person is so cool. They're so interesting. And you're just caught up in the vibe of who they are. And if that person is vibrating at a high space, literally just from you interacting with them, you're now going to move away and be vibrating high, and you're going to draw high vibrational things into your life. You're going to make high vibrational decisions. You're going to move in a certain way. You're going to calculate things in a certain way. But what those people do, the bottom feeders, the people who are trying to be con artists, they're always packaging you. And if they real stupid, they let you know it. They say, oh, you're the kind of person, you do such and such, such and such. And you got to be careful with that kind of thing. When you meet people, let me tell you something. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't try to package a person and make assumptions about them. Pay attention to how a person moves and learn how to read vibrations. Learn how to read energy. Here's another thing. As some aspects of our society become more supremely intelligent, I was having this conversation with a doctor yesterday, and there's a whole movement of people out here who are working towards supreme intelligence. We talked about that a little bit last week, like transhumanism. But they're working towards supreme intelligence, and they're really focused on, they kind of incubate themselves in a space of certain type of intelligence. So they're only reading and feeding on high vibrational information. And this is a huge movement of people that's out here. And you guys, most of them are white. But it's a lesson that we all should learn, because so what they do is anything low vibrational, they don't engage in. They only eat high vibrational foods. They don't watch the news. They only engage with people that raise their vibration. They only get in relationships with people that raise their vibrations. They only practice behaviors that are high vibrational behaviors. So however they make money, they're very careful. In most of these cases, these people already have money. So, and this is kind of like their give back, because they might have been cruddy and made a bunch of money. But some people are highly spiritual and good people, but everything that they do is vibrationally high, because the belief and the math behind it is this. If you are feeding, let's say you got 10 sources of information that you access every day. And accessing information can be in the form of relationships, of whether it's television, whatever it is you're doing, go to work, whatever. If 7 of those 10 are high vibrational, what you will start to do is you will start to impact the cellular structures in your body. You're going to impact how your blood flows, because again, all of this is energy. Think about water, right? If you add energy to water, you can get waves. If you remove the energy from water, you get this beautiful, still kind of thing. Well, your thinking is the electricity that moves the fluids and stuff like that through your body. So if you're high vibrational thinking, then all your organs are pulsating at that high vibrational level. You're going to be healthier. You're going to be happier. You're going to be wealthier. You're going to experience love on a deeper level. If you're always functioning at a low vibration, then the fluids and everything in your body is very still and can become stagnant. It's like standing water that becomes stinky and funky and can get fungus in it. That's the concept you want to think about. So you want to have most of your thoughts and activities on a high vibrational level. And the way you know your vibrational levels is you know it by your thoughts and you know it by your emotions. The thing about energy is energy don't lie. Okay. So if you're a cruddy person and you spend 70% of your life being cruddy, then the 30% is going to be impacted. You're going to impact how you move. People are going to be able to tell. People who can read vibrations can tell how you move, how you talk, what you do, because even your voice has a certain vibration. So this marriage to pop culture that we have is a very dangerous one because it's going to impact our ability to survive. In fact, about it, it already has. It's setting us up so that all we can do is get what we need from something else, from someone else. And what do I mean by that? You're going to need a government set aside because you can't vibrate high enough to go out and create and sell, right? If you can't vibrate high enough to create and sell and relate, right? Relating meaning you can create experiences for other people and sell that. Relating meaning you can introduce two people and put deals together and sell that. Creating meaning you can create a product, a service, or system that is sustainable. However you do it, but if you aren't vibrating high enough, you can't create and sell. You can't relate and sell. You can't put deals together and sell. You can't think and sell. So you're not going to be able to make it in this tight economy because there might not be any jobs available. Or if there are jobs available, they're going to be low-paying jobs. And you won't be able to even function there because your vibration is so low, you won't even want to get up and go do it. And if you see yourself, let me just give you a little hint. If you see yourself becoming unproductive, that means your vibration is low. So always check yourself, check your vibration, figure out what you need to do to raise your energy levels. We're going to talk about what emotions are high vibrational emotions in a minute, but I want you to see how this is going to impact our ability to survive. And the only way you'll really be a hand-to-mouth slave type of person, and you'll only be able to get money if somebody give it to you. You'll only be able to live life if somebody allows you and gives it to you, because you won't be able to create and grow. And trust me, these people that got you hooked into this business model that you think is business, but it's really just a pop cultural business model. It's a model designed for pop culture. You're not going to be able to take that model over. They've already decided that that model's done. That model's over with. You heard me all say that on TikTok. They got a different TikTok in Asia. So the business model they use over here in the States is not the business model that they use in Asia. It's probably not the business model they use in Africa. Why do I say that? Because the Asians are starting to colonize Africa. That's another business model. So you want to broaden yourself on the way in which things can be done. And if you've gotten yourself into some kind of vibrational trouble, meaning that you've put some kind of negativity out there about yourself, you got to be careful with that too. Be careful with social media. One thing that I learned very early on in social media, I've been asked to be on some interesting television shows for a number of years, but I'm really careful about the vibration. I'm not concerned about the money. I'm concerned about the vibration. Why? Because if I put a certain vibration out there about myself, and let's say I got 500,000 or 1 million followers, then I got 1 million people vibrating with me at this low vibrational level. So it's just going to multiply the results that I get from those millions of people seeing me. So I said, I'd rather put something out there good. So way back when we first started being on Facebook, and I would always put positive quotes out there. I actually was doing that before Oprah was doing it. And then I remember there was a whole campaign that where she started like putting positive quotes and putting things like that. But I would always put positive quotes out there. I would always say something so that, because I understood cause and effect. I understood how what I put out there, the universe is going to give back to me. So if I'm putting crap out there in the universe for millions of people to see, that's what I'm going to get back to myself. And so if you've done that, now you just have to be about the business of reversing that energy that you put out there about yourself. So don't go on social media and complain. Don't go on there and say negative stuff about yourself or about people, because all that's going to happen is just going to ricochet and come right back to you. And you're going to see the impact of that in your life. If you have the right mindset and the right vibration, you can overcome any hater and anybody being negative. You can overcome anything. You can beat cases. You can win. You can fix a mistake. You can do any of that kind of stuff if you got the right vibration. But you got to be very careful. Be very, very careful, because if you've put energy out there and you know you need to turn it around, you got to figure out, how do I counter this? How do I show people that I'm not that person that was vibrating at that level? I'm something different now. We all oftentimes have to reinvent ourselves. You see artists do it all the time. But I would encourage those of us that are entrepreneurs, conscious entrepreneurs, to study business models. You can look on YouTube, study different industries, study different business models, study different ways in which you can structure your business, and stop assuming that what you see in pop culture is the way you should structure your business and the way you should conduct your business. And stop interacting with one another based on the behaviors and business models that you see on television. It's very, 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 very important. So I wanted to just raise your awareness to the de-intellectualizing of our community. I say this all the time: smart is the new rich. If you're smart and you can think and vibrate at a certain level, people from all cultures will deal with you, and you will have longevity and long business relationships with these people. Friendships in all walks of life. But if you vibrate low, then what will happen is the person will be initially attracted to you, and then they'll start to retreat because they don't feel good when they're around you. So now, in these last few minutes, let's talk about how do we judge how we're vibrating, because some of us are not yet that spiritually sensitive. It's based on how you feel. Okay? You can't lie to yourself when it comes to vibration. You can't be on the phone over here talking negative and talking smack, plotting against people, stealing from people, running game on people, trying to figure out how you can take from them, and then say, but I got a high vibration. And people will know, because you won't be producing. You'll always be a bottom feeder. But it's how you feel. So right now, if you're feeling good, if you're feeling happy, if you're feeling satisfied, if you're feeling comfortable, those are all vibrations. Those are high vibrations. Remember, love is the absolute most fertile emotion and the highest vibration. It's why you see mothers and fathers who will do supernatural things to save their children. It's love. So love is the highest form. So many of you now, again, it's a pop culture thing. I don't like love. I don't love nobody. Well, if you don't, then you're going to always be at a lower vibration. And the people who understand love, because love doesn't necessarily mean attachment. Love doesn't mean, let me capture you and hold you hostage. Love means what? Freedom, justice, and equality. That's how I should feel when I'm around you. If you say you love me, I should feel free. I should know that there's justice here for me. I should feel equal. I shouldn't feel depressed or sad or abused. So if you feel in any of those kind of emotions, and here's the thing, don't beat yourself up if you start feeling fear. Don't beat yourself up if you start feeling sad. This is how you deal with emotions. And remember, you all, I became a certified emotional intelligence coach so that I could go deeper and study this kind of thing. This is how you deal with your emotions. See your emotions as a compass. If you found yourself, ooh, I just felt this wave of sadness, you may say, instead of going, oh, but I can't do this, think about it. Okay, what just triggered me? What happened that all of a sudden made me really feel sad? What was that? That might be something trying to get your attention. So you pay attention to it. You're not attached to it. It's not your name. You don't identify with it. You're not just the sad person. It's just a signal to you to pay attention to something. Once you pay attention and you identify, you should immediately start the conversations with yourself to raise your vibration. You might be like, man, I am really afraid. I don't know how I'm going to make it with this new business. I don't know how I'm going to be able to sustain the rent at the business and my own rent, whatever. You should start having, that, boom, that was a thought that came up. Your next thought should be like, okay, I'm going to go to work. I'm going to do some planning. But before you start working and planning, you need to have a conversation with yourself. Well, and I'm a spiritual person, so I go to God. God has never forsaken me. He looks out for me. He moves things around me like chess pieces. He shows up when I ain't even thinking about him. He's there. He removes people from my presence who he don't want around me. He takes care of me. He gives me my security. He gets me from point A to B safely. He gave me the inspiration for this business and this idea. So I know he would never forsake me. He didn't bring me this far to leave me. So you have those conversations with yourself and you stay as general as you can at first so that you change your vibration back. Let's say you go through a bad relationship and you feel like a person abandoned you or they dogged you. Then you can have that conversation with yourself. You have that feeling, but then you say, but you know what? I probably just caught a blessing. Allah just removed this person from my life because apparently that person wasn't good for me. We wasn't vibrating at the right level. I know what's for me is out there. I know that there's somebody out there that respects me and loves me and gives me and will give me a safe space to be myself so that I can work out and be creative and sell and thrive into this legacy that I'm building for myself. So do you understand? Tell me in the chat if you understand this type of conversation that you have to start having with yourself when you see yourself going into a lower vibration point. You don't beat yourself up for the low vibrational emotion. You use it as a compass. You thank yourself for having that emotion. You say, thank you for letting me feel that fear. Because you want that, right? You want it so that if somebody comes into your presence, if they ain't right, you want to feel it in your body. You want to feel it, whether you feel fear, whether you feel anxiety, you want to feel the vibration of that person in your body. You want to become so sensitive that your solar plex tells you loud and clearly. And if you don't know what the solar plexus is, you don't know how to use the solar plexus to adjust your vibrations, you got to go back to the manifestation series. You all remember? Tell me in the chat if you were a part of the manifestation series. It's posted here on this YouTube channel, the manifestation series where we went through, I think, 15, 16 weeks, okay, of how to manifest, how to take something that's in your mind and make it something physical. And how to become laser focused on something. So even when you focus on something, let's say you want something, you don't focus on the absence of what you want. So let's say you want money. You don't focus on the fact that you ain't got no money, because what'll happen is you'll continue to not have any money. That's why you don't go out there and try to steal from people or take what somebody else got, because the vibration that becomes dominant in your behavior is the fact that you don't have the money. So now you feel like, I got to go steal it from somebody else. I got to go take it from somebody else. I got to go scheme from somebody else. I got to go scam from somebody else. All of those are vibrations. And within that vibration, what is that saying? It's saying, I don't have it. That's not the way you manifest. The way you manifest is you want to focus on it as if you already have it. That's why creating is important. That's why journaling and writing things down is important. That's why having good high vibrational conversations is important. Call up a friend, call up a relative, call up a family member and say, hey, I just wanted to walk you through. You got time today? Let's have dinner. I want you to let's talk about my business plan. And then you start to talk and get into the vibration of what it is that you want. You start to emotionalize it. We talked about that, right? How are you going to feel, right? How are you going to feel when you have what you want? If you say, well, I just want $2,000, how are you going to feel when you get that $2,000? What's it feel like? You may say, it feels like love. It feels like freedom. It feels like excitement. It feels like somebody cares about me. I feel worthy. I feel validated. And you're going to list those feelings out, and then you're going to feel them. What does love feel like in your body? What does excitement feel like in your body? What does worthiness feel like in your body? What does that feel like? What kind of thoughts? How do you move if you feel worthy? If you feel protected? If you feel loved? If you say, I just want a man who's going to protect me. Well, how will you feel when you have that? Or how do you think? If you say, well, I never had it, I don't know. How you think you're going to feel? Why you say you want it? What emotion are you trying to satisfy? So you want to emotionalize and visualize. Be careful with the behaviors, because when you take action behind an emotion or a vibration, that is putting that out there, and it's going to come mathematically, it's going to come right back to you. So if you're sitting up somewhere and you say, you know what, I ain't got no money, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out here and get up on somebody else. I'm going to take theirs. I'm going to scam them. I'm going to just start talking about people. I'm going to be mad. I'm going to do all this negative stuff. Then you're putting action behind the thought. And what the root thought of that is, you ain't got no money. So you putting that out there, and that's all that's going to come back to you. This is how you do that. Okay, I need to earn some money to sustain myself. So what can I create? What can I do differently? How can I vibrate? But before you do any of that, how am I going to feel when I have all the money that I need? How am I going to feel when I can sustain myself off of this business? How am I going to feel when I'm able to provide and help people and invest in my relationship, my friends, my family? How am I going to feel? What's that going to make me feel like? You start there, and then you say, let me go create and sell. Let me go relate and sell. Let me go interact and sell. But you can't go into the situation with a predatory mindset. And if that person's vibrating on a higher level, they're going to see you coming. They're going to see you coming. And they may not even tell you that they see you coming. They may just let you spin your wheels. That's a real gangster way to do it. Let me just tell y'all. When you know a person is coming to you and you know they running game, you just let them sit there and spin wheels, and they just waste all their time spinning wheels with you. You already see them coming. Guess what? Then their whole life gonna fall apart. I know that's kind of mean, but that's how people who function on a high vibrational level will deal with you. You're lucky if they say, hey, stop running game. Most of the time they'll ignore you, or they'll halfway entertain you. You know, that's what rich people do. Millionaires, billionaires, they'll halfway entertain you. They'll always be nice. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Come by the house. Let's sit down and talk. But they'll never answer your call. Every time you get ready to go over their house or meet with them, they're always busy. They got something else to do. They'll pick up the phone with you for 2 seconds because they know that vibration is everything. So they don't want you sending a bad vibration towards them. So they will play you and spin you so your vibration with them stays high, but they ain't messing with you. I'm just putting y'all up on game. All right, y'all. It is time for us to go. Okay, Zaza said fire. Without vision, people perish. That's right. Stanley Ferguson said, I am experiencing that as we speak, even with so-called success. Yeah, success is different, right? You spend a lot of time becoming successful, and when you get successful, there's a whole nother group of vibrations and stuff that you got to learn how to deal with, right? Okay, I see you all there. Tanisha X, yes, ma'am, you are teaching. All praises due to Allah, sis. Thank you. Gabrielle Malachi, welcome, welcome. Thank you, Zaza. Sincere Jackson, she, her, hers. They are only buying up all the land in the U.S. Oh, you're talking about the Asians. Yeah, the Chinese. Sister Aletha, iVision Tax Solutions. Roz Nora, welcome, welcome. Licia Johnson, I see y'all. Virtuous 62. Okay, all right, y'all. Y'all know what to do. Emotionalize, visualize, and then move. Put yourself in the emotional state that you need to be in. If you're going out and you got to sell something, put yourself in the state. See yourself selling, whether it's newspapers, whatever it is. See yourself selling it. Emotionalize yourself. How you going to feel when you selling that, when you're successful at selling these items? And then you put your plan together on how you're going to go out. But emotionalize and visualize first, then plan, then create, and then go from there. Once you get good at that, that will almost start to happen simultaneously. And when you sit down to think or meditate, you'll get ideas and they'll just pop, 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 pop. And you'll already be in the emotionalization and the visualization state. So you can roll right in to planning. All right, y'all. Happy Saturday. Do something nice for somebody today. Love on somebody today. Be nice to yourself. Love on yourself today. Tune in to social media. My social media sites, 3 p.m. today, will be at the Silver Room. Just showing y'all some cool souvenirs and stuff y'all can pick up for Savior's Day. And please don't forget, make sure you pre-register for the mini tour. There won't be any walk-up access. If you walk up, you can take pictures outside the gate. We don't mind that. And you certainly can go live. I want everybody going live saying, I'm here at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. And we'll talk about that. We'll get specific. But right now, make your donations. Get your coins. There are coins left. SajdahHouse.com for the coins. Let me put that up here on the screen so you all see it. SajdahHouse.com. You can get both coins, both the pendants and the graded coins are available right there at SajdahHouse.com. You go to SajdahHouse.com, what's going to pop up is the graded coin. And if you look down, kind of scroll down, you'll see this one. If you get confused, you can always go to my social media and go to the link in the bio and click whichever coin that you want. Get the coins. We got to get finished. Make a donation and make sure that you register, because you got to pre-register to come and experience this emotional feeling that I've been talking to you about actually now the last 4 years. So, all right, family, peace and blessings. Love you all very much. And let's get out of this pop culture thinking. That's a business model for specific results. That's not a business model that we should be applying to everything else in our life. Peace and blessings, family. Love y'all.